Well, President Trump has a new statue, and it's standing along 3rd Street Northwest across from the U.S. Capitol. Students from Liberty University drove it into town. They came up with the idea for the 12-foot Bitcoin-themed statue, which took about 5 weeks to complete.
You know, this is a statement. You know, this is to show to everybody that without the president, we could never have had this mass adoption of Bitcoin, of the cryptocurrencies, of all these big institutions buying Bitcoin. And it shows that's the future, and this is our thank you, our statement to the president.
The statue's arrival coincides with this afternoon's announcement regarding the interest rates that were cut by the Federal Reserve. Organizers have not said where it will stand next.
In 5 years, we're going to see 415,000 low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day. They're putting in 5G to harvest our data and control our behavior. Digital currency that will allow them to punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply. Vaccine passports.
And then we have another crazy billionaire, Bill Gates, says there's too many of us. His thing by 2030 is to depopulate the planet. And I just wondered, like, are we part of the population that he wants to Says there's too many of us. And he says it. And people go, it's a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory. He said it. Bill Gates, you go see on YouTube, he says one of the goals by 2030 is to lower the population of the planet, and one of the ways to do that is using vaccines. It's like, what? And people go, no, that's a conspiracy theory. So he said it. You can go see, he said, yeah, but it's a conspiracy theory to think, he meant what he said. He meant it, he's doing it, and it's working.
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Remember how I said earlier in this speech that the farmers need to give up their farms before 2030, specifically that year? Yeah, so that's not a coincidence. That year doesn't come out of nowhere. So that year is basically the deadline that our global elites have given our country and will probably give you to abide by these new regulations. And that agenda is called the 2030 Agenda. And now I have a slide showing you what that entails. So the 2030 Agenda is a United Nations agenda. So there we go, everybody is part of the United Nations, right? The entire world. And this agenda consists of 17 what they call Sustainable Development Goals. And when you take a look at them, right there, you're like, well, what's wrong with that? They all seem very noble. No poverty, no hunger. Who could be against that? However, if we take a closer look at how they actually want to accomplish all of this, anybody with 2 functioning brain cells realizes that this cannot happen unless there is an active and maybe even forceful redistribution of goods, foods, property, and our rights, which basically comes down to the obliteration of all of our basic liberties and our rights. And these goals, as I said, are not restricted solely to the Netherlands. They are global. And that's where we see their true motive. The people behind this want to establish a one-world government, a new world order in which they decide what we eat, when we eat, where we travel, when we travel, who we meet, and what we are allowed to spend our money on. Basically, control over every single aspect of our lives. And I'm sure that many of you have heard the famous sentence from Klaus Schwab, where he says, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, right? Yeah, that's this agenda. So why are the people behind this agenda specifically targeting farmers? Well, it's because obviously they really want our way of life and the things that we eat to radically change. They don't want us to eat foods that make us strong. They want us to eat synthetic meat created by Bill Gates. They want us to eat bugs. They want us to drink soy milk so that we become weak and obedient, and we do as they say and we buy what they offer.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today I'd like to bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in your county. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment. Examples of this include astronauts fading in and out of the screen, green screen glitches, grabbing objects that aren't really there, pulling on invisible wires, getting tangled in their harnesses, and even astronauts appearing out of thin air. This begs the obvious question. If they're really up there, why are they using Hollywood techniques to fake the footage? Now, unfortunately, I can't show you these clips in here today, but I will be sending them to you. Outside the International Space Station, during spacewalks, air bubbles have been recorded on numerous occasions. How is it possible for air bubbles to be present in the vacuum of space? I once questioned astronaut Scott Kelly about this phenomenon. His body language and answers only created more questions. In 2013, astronaut Luca Parmitano nearly drowned during a spacewalk when his helmet filled with water. This happened again just last year. Air bubbles, helmets filling with water, and drowning. Are they in space or are they underwater? Now, what's really interesting is that they trained for spacewalks in an underwater pool with a complete ISS replica. Now, surely they aren't filming these spacewalks in an underwater pool and then editing them to appear if they're in space, because that sure would be something, wouldn't it? I'm calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to open a full investigation into NASA's fraudulent practices and use of taxpayer dollars. It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos, I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going. And if they are indeed faking the funk, it is our duty to expose and eliminate this fraudulent and astronomically wasteful ISS program. And look, I know what you're all thinking. The NASA is part of the federal government and you're just county commissioners. Even if what I'm saying is true, what can you do? But let me remind you, not only is this happening in your county, as public officials, you have the platform and the ability to make a statement or hold a press conference, alerting the public, state, and federal authorities to investigate further. You have the power to start the conversation. Video evidence of everything I described today will be emailed to you all, and I truly hope we can get to the bottom of this. I look forward to the day that $3 billion annual budget is put towards our veterans, our homeless.
I'm 8 years old, and I'm going to be teaching you about flat Earth. So first we're going to start off with gravity. Gravity is a theory, not a fact. Mass attracting mass has never been proven properly. This happened in 1666. An apple fell on Isaac Newton's head. It must have been a big apple for him to believe in gravity. Gravity is fake because density and EMF are making things drop, not gravity. EMF, that stands for electromagnetic frequency. If gravity can't be proven and Earth is 70% water, we know water stays level, then 70% of Earth is level. Now we are going to move on to the globe and our flat Earth. So say there's a boat just cruising on the bottom of the Earth. It would fall into space, and space is fake. If space was real, stars would have parallax, but they don't. So it would just fall into space. And this is for anything that can't go upside down. If people believe that the Earth is round, people don't walk upside down. Same with a boat. It doesn't sail upside down. They think this is true on that. Well, no, it is not. This is our true flat Earth. And the thing around it is the firmament. I'm going to tell you how the firmament is real. The firmament is real because air pressure has to be contained, just like in a tire. Now we are going to move on to seasons and the sun. The spinning ball globe believers say that the sun is 93 million miles away. The globe depends on parallel rays for the seasons. All you have to do is use your God-given eyes to see we have crepuscular rays from the sun. Crepuscular rays proves we have a local sun. That proves everything about seasons and the sun. Now we are going to move on to a sun, moon, and earth depiction. The sun is shining on the moon and the moon is shining on the earth. Why is it not shining its temperature on earth? Well, me and my dad did an experiment one night on a full moon, and we used a laser thermometer to check the moon's light and its shadow. The moon's light was colder than its shadow, so that proves the light is colder than its shadow, and proves the sun is not reflecting its light on the moon. Thank you for watching my flat earth presentation. I hope you guys liked it. Just remember, the truth does not fear investigation. Thank you for watching. Bye.
What did you learn?
We learned about how the earth went around the sun.
Do you want to tell them the truth?
Yeah. So first, God set the earth on its foundation. It can never be moved. So how does it go around the sun? Second, God is enthroned above the circle. Yes, it is a circle, but not round like a ball. He's enthroned above the circle of the earth. Third, in Revelations, it says that there are four corners of the earth. Now, tell me, how can there be four corners of a round ball? Okay, fourth, God created a firmament to split the waters above and below. This is why our rainbows are shaped how they are. And when you hear thunder, it echoes off our firmament. Fifth, in Isaiah, God sits on his throne above the circle of the earth. Also, God set the sun, the moon, and the stars in the firmament to give Earth light. This gives you an idea of what our Earth actually looks like. We have never gone past the firmament, and let me tell you this, NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. All this was about was question everything. Oh, and I need to add that the moon and sun move around inside of a firmament. Oh, and guys, this is purely entertainment only.
Why isn't this on the news? Go down rabbit holes. I'm trying to be calm, but if you went down the rabbit hole of citric acid, you would see that it's GMO corn syrup, black mold grown citric acid. And people are eating this. It's in dude, they put citric acid in everything. Dude, start looking at your ingredients. Citric acid, boom, black mold. GMO corn syrup grown black mold. Byproduct, citric acid. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you see this, it weighs on you because you're watching millions of people consuming this and nobody's making a big deal about it. Why isn't this shit on the news? Why don't they teach you about what citric acid is when you're in school? They won't, bro. They won't teach you what citric acid is when you're in school, when you're eating a lollipop with citric acid in it. Is that a fucking crazy world to live in? So let's go down the rabbit holes, because I'll take you down every single one for everything, bro, that I talk about.
Today we're reporting live in front of the biggest dump in America, and we are exposing them with no mercy. From occultic symbolism found in the McDonald's logo to a 33rd degree Freemason as their founder, all the way to children's teeth and literal human flesh in their food. We are covering it all today, folks, so stay tuned for the rest of this video. First, we're going to talk about the McDonald's logo and how it's actually a black magic sigil from a book, specifically this book of witchcraft and Satanism. You see, the legend is that McDonald's was founded by Freemasons and built on a satanic foundation, as you can see with these two former CEOs throwing up the devil horns very publicly. Not only that, but McDonald's and their logo also represents the Ark of Baal. The Ark of Baal was an ancient demonic monument in Syria that got destroyed and for some reason rebuilt in New York. And Baal is the demonic god of child sacrifice in the Bible, and his ark represents demonic portals to different dimensions. So why does the original McDonald's logo not an M but an ark? Why in St. Louis do we have monuments glorifying Baal? And why do people always find human hair, human DNA, human body parts, human teeth in their McDonald's burgers and foods? Alright? Keep in mind that Baal is the demonic god of child sacrifice. Watch this mother's testimony of what she found in her daughter's
I'm like sick to my stomach, okay? I've heard the rumors and I'm guilty of it, taking my kids to go eat at McDonald's, but today took my girls to go get their normal Happy Meals. She bit down one of her chicken nuggets and she says that, you know, she hurt her teeth. And so I'm looking at it and I pulled this out. She pulls this out. She hands it to me, okay? And I'm freaking out. Baby, where's your tooth? What happened? How'd you lose a tooth? How did you lose a tooth in your chicken nuggets? It's not her tooth, y'all. This is not my baby's tooth. But this is a baby's tooth. This was someone's baby's tooth.
McDonald's serves 68 to 69 million people in a single day. When's the last time you drove by a cattle ranch and saw more than 1,000 cows? There's not enough beef in the entire world to serve the volume of people they do. So it really makes you wonder what they mean by billions and billions served. Do not defile your temple or your child's temple by eating the poison that this place calls food. Return to the Most High's original design for your life and for your body. I'm talking whole foods. I'm talking herbal medicine straight from the earth, like it says in Sirach 38:4. And I'm talking fasting and praying. Folks, this is the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. I'm going to be exposing truth on this page more and more, so stay tuned.
Rappers wearing skirts and dresses. NBA players like Russell Westbrook wearing dresses. That means they are emasculate. I don't care how much money they make. They've been buck butt broken. And so as well as these women. See, the system, for the most part, I gotta say this as we end this. There's no white person called 50 cent, quarter, nickel, penny. Ice tea, ice cube, ice tray, ice bomb, icicle, 6'9", 2'9", 3'6", garbage, gorilla. We don't know who we are. We're the only group of people on the planet we don't know who we are. So we call yourself gorilla, okay? You call yourself Snoop Dogg, Sneaky Cat, Big Fat, all of these slave names. Because there's still slaves here. I don't care how much money you make. The Simpsons says, you could be a multimillionaire, but only within the crab barrel system. if you attempt to be a billionaire outside of the system, Kobe, Nipsey Hussle, Chadwick Boseman, they will unalive you and take you out.
Oh yeah. And what are you doing?
What was that? What just happened?
I don't know.